All right, let's dive in. Today we're going to unpack the incredible story behind the novel, The Help, a book that really shines a light on a group of women who found their voices in a time and place that did everything it could to keep them silent. So we're jumping straight into Jackson, Mississippi, 1962. And this quote from Aibileen Clark, it just pulls you right into her world. This isn't just about a job description. It's about a profound skill, a deep-seated knowledge, and this quiet pride in her work that the world around her just completely refuses to see.
Now, the whole story really hinges on three women. They are from completely different worlds, but each one is trapped by the society they live in, and each is looking for a way to break free.
First up, we have Aibileen. You could really say she's the moral compass of this whole story. She's got this incredible grace and quiet strength, and she finds her purpose in loving and raising these children, all while carrying this immense private grief of her own.
So when you look at Aibileen's world, it's all about this quiet dignity. I mean, she's raising her 17th white child. She's so much more than a maid. She's basically a mother to little Mae Mobley. And here's the thing. Secretly, she's a writer. Every single night, she writes down her prayers. It's this small act that keeps her spirit and her sharp mind alive.
And then you've got Minny Jackson. She's Aibileen's best friend. And if Aibileen is the quiet, steady heart of the story, Minny is the fiery, outspoken soul. She is completely unfiltered. She says exactly what everyone else is thinking, but would never, ever dare to say out loud.
I mean, this woman is living on a knife's edge, day in and day out. On the one hand, she's famous for being the best cook in town. But on the other, her sharp tongue means she can barely hold down a job. And she's navigating not one, but two dangerous worlds, an abusive home life and a secret job with Celia Foote, who's a total social outcast herself. And that brings us to our third woman, the one who really sets everything in motion, Eugenia Phelan. But, everyone just calls her Skeeter. She's a part of this privileged white society, but honestly, she's never really belonged. And this is where it all connects, right? You have these three women, separated by race, by class, by everything, but they're all suffocating under the expectations of Jackson society. Each one is desperate to find a purpose, to find a voice, that their world is determined to deny them. Okay, so to really get what's at stake here, you have to understand the world they're living in. Jackson in the 1960s was all about these invisible, yet totally unbreakable rules that controlled every single part of life. So Skeeter's trying to get her writing career started, and she goes to the library and stumbles upon this state-sanctioned booklet. And for the first time, she sees all these unspoken rules written down in black and white. No sharing bathrooms, books, water fountains, nothing. You can just imagine her shock. It makes this invisible system horrifyingly real. And this is just a perfect example of how those big systemic laws were backed up by personal, everyday prejudice. This is Hilly Holbrook, the villain of our story, pushing what she calls the Home Help Sanitation Initiative. It's just this thinly veiled, disgusting excuse to force white families to build separate outdoor bathrooms for their black maids. But it wasn't just about social rules. Oh no, it was brutally economic. Take a look at this number, $172. That was Aibileen's entire pay for a month of working 6 days a week. And when you actually break down where that money goes, it's just, wow. Almost 3/4 of it is gone before she can even blink, just on rent and bills. That leaves you with about $13 a week for everything else. Food, clothes, you name it. It's just a crushing reality. All right, so this is where things really start to shift. It's the moment where Skeeter's ambition, Aibileen's deep well of experience, and Minny's simmering frustration all collide and create something truly explosive. It starts with a simple piece of professional advice from an editor in New York. Write about what disturbs you. And for Skeeter, who's bothered by how her friends treat their help and is still haunted by her own maid's disappearance, this sparks an idea. An idea that's not just groundbreaking, it's flat out dangerous. But Skeeter can't do this alone. She needs someone on the inside, so she asks Aibileen. And just think about that choice. The risks are insane. She could lose her job, be thrown in jail, or worse. But after a lifetime of silence, Aibileen makes this incredibly brave decision to speak her truth. So, with Aibileen on board as the first courageous voice, the project is a go. But it has to be done in total secrecy. This is a clandestine operation, built on trust in the dead of night. And what starts as a whisper between two women, talking late at night at Aibileen's house, it starts to snowball. Abileen's courage inspires Minny to join, especially after Hilly does something terrible to her. Then another maid is wrongfully arrested and that fear in the community turns to anger. Suddenly, more and more women decide the risk is finally worth it. Okay, but here's the million-dollar question. How do you protect everyone involved when their stories are so specific? Well, Minny comes up with this, let's just call it an absolutely brilliant, if shocking, insurance policy. She adds one final story about Hilly that is so humiliating, so personal, that Hilly will have to deny the book is about Jackson just to save face.
So, they do it. The manuscript gets finished, filled with all these secret stories. Skeeter mails it to New York, and it gets published under a very simple title, Help.
And when that book hits the shelves in Jackson, it's like a bomb went off. The white society ladies are reading it obsessively, trying to figure out who's who. But Minnie's insurance plan, it works like a charm. Hilly Holbrook, to protect her own reputation, goes on a campaign denying the book has anything to do with Jackson, and in a perfect twist of irony, she ends up protecting the very women who exposed her.
So in the end, what happens to our three women? Well, the book changes everything. Aibileen gets fired, yes, but she's no longer silent. She finds her own voice as a writer. Minny finally gets away from her abusive husband and finds a safe, happy home with Celia. And Skeeter? She gets the job she always dreamed of in Reeves, Mississippi for a new life in New York. Each one finds their own kind of freedom.
And that really leaves us with the core question of the whole book, doesn't it? It challenges all of us to look past the lines society draws, race, class, whatever it is. It asks, if we actually take the time to listen to each other's stories, can we finally see that we're not all that different? That, right there, is the lasting power of the Help.